me so that you don't just produce children just like that. I don't think there's anything that is in the biblical against that.
Maybe you've had 3 and you don't want any more.
And you don't want any more. It's so you now have the condoms, you have other things that will help you. Science has helped us to know that if you can control the hormonal things about in a woman, you will be able to prevent pregnancies from taking place. So this is science helping us. But the same science that is helping us with the hormonal treatment will again give a man certain female hormones in order for him to be able to begin to put on breasts and begin to look like a woman. The same science.
That's what they refer to as a hormonal imbalance.
No, not just imbalance. They artificially.
But again, even now there are people who believe in the hormonal imbalance. Where a male may have more female features, and of course from Titi we refer to them as Kojobesia. We give them all manner of names, despising them and all that. How does science explain that? If indeed science is saying that this is how things should be, and that a man should be with a woman, just like the Bible says, how come some people come?
We must begin to accept that human development is one of the most wonderful things. How come that one cell begins to divide, and then as it divides, some will get into making my fingers, and it gets to a certain point and it stops. It gets to a certain point, and so there are all kinds of things that happen after you have an XY or you have an XX. The males develop the testosterone, and the females have the estrogen. And these are the things that affect the kind of development that take place. So the fact that you are S or SX or SY also have to follow, so that when you get to a certain age, the hormones begin to act. So anything at all can happen. So if something that happens to somebody, and then that person does not behave normally like everybody else, that doesn't mean that's a justification to say that person has SY but is not a male. I don't know whether you get the point.
I'm not getting it because the
point I'm making is this: if you are XY, you are a male. If you are XX, you are a female. When you get to a certain stage in your life, the man produces testosterone. He also produces some estrogen. And the female produces more of estrogen, but he also produces some testosterone. So the same way that certain developments can go in a wrong way, that doesn't justify the fact that is the way everybody is. So if a man has testosterone, but somehow some imbalance comes in, and he gets some more estrogen, and therefore certain things that he does looks like what a woman will do. That doesn't mean that now open the floodgates, and those who are normal human with all everything, go and give them more estrogen so that they behave like their female. This is all that they are trying to say, because the science has demonstrated that it is a hormone that is doing it, and therefore if he is behaving like that, then you come back and say it is society that really has imposed femaleness or maleness on this person. What about biology? So you are throwing biology away and saying that gender is something that society puts on us. But as for me, my biology, put it aside and let me throw away what society has put on me. And because society looks at my SY and say I'm a male, no, I'm not accepting that. Therefore, give me more of this kind of hormone, and I'll behave more like
How do you feel with all that is happening? And of course, the pressure from the West and all. How do you feel about it? As a scientist, as a man of God, how do you feel about it?
Number one, as a scientist, I think homosexuality doesn't make sense. It doesn't make sense, because if you take plants, I always lost it with maize. Maize, you can see that when it starts, it puts up the pollen. You say a brona pese. You see it on top of it. That is the male part. And then after some time, you see where the actual corn comes, and then there is what we call the stigma, silk. That is the stigma that is to receive the pollen from the male side. If a maize plant sits somewhere and doesn't have other maize plants to shed the pollen, it doesn't give you any grain. So if even plants have the male and the female in order to create maize for us and to plant a new maize plant, how on earth can human beings sit down and say that you need only the male, the maize plant with the tassel, and you don't need the ear with the female part in order for humanity to continue? It doesn't make sense. So whatever you try to justify it, it doesn't make sense. It's as simple as, it's as foolish as anything. That you need, even animals and plants, they need that. And mitosis is just the breaking up of cell, but you need meiosis in order to brings all the changes. And all of these things are there. They have been put there. You put away God. You put away God and put away and say the Bible is not there. But let's take this scientific thing and see that we all depend on variation. We need a variation. That's why meiosis is there. And meiosis brings a variation so that every sperm is not the same as the other sperm. And every egg is not the same as the other egg. All these processes are there. The males have their testicles. The females have their ovaries. They are producing the eggs. These are producing the sperms. And there has to be a way of meeting them. And then you take this thing out. Other doctors are even making effort that when a couple is having challenges, they will find a way by bringing the egg and the sperm together in order to create in vitro fertilization. All of these efforts are being made. And yet, some of them just get up and say, for me, it's not about nature. It's about my enjoyment of a certain kind of sex.
And somebody, a friend of mine says, what annoys him the most
it
is the fact
make
that
sense.
when they do this and they say they want to adopt children.
Yes.
So if that was a natural way to do things,
yes,
you would have had your own children. But now you want to adopt. Based on what you're saying, let's listen to Miles Monroe of blessed memory, and let's show this also on Facebook. LUV 99.5. I want to show you Miles Monroe. I will just bring to you a bit of what he said about homosexuality, and then you get to watch the rest on Facebook. It's on LUV 99.5, and you tell me what you make of what Miles Monroe says. Take a listen.
Designed the male to be like him. God designed the male. The male is a giver. So if you look at the male's body, there's nothing to receive. Is that clear? Is it clear? This is an exit. Clear?
So if you want to enjoy it more, you can join us on Facebook, LUV 99.5. That's how you get to appreciate it the more, because you hear the sounds, the cheers and all. It's because of the gestures and what he's saying. It will enable you appreciate it the more. So Kate, please show that video again. Keep showing that video so our listeners will also get to go onto Facebook and watch it. And then you tell me what you make of it. Just watch it.
Oh, shout amen, church!
What you make of it. And that's the Miles Monroe of blessed memory. And he is using gestures, and you'd appreciate it some more. Prof, so he's saying the same thing as you're saying.
Yes.
There's an exit.
Your country
men are
is now facing
to receive. What are your expectations of this
the
bill?
challenge
when we hear
of
that there's
people
pressure being mounted on some of our members of
attempting
parliament
to legalize an exit.
Well, I hope and pray
That's all.
that I have written in my book that we better
But
go
no
to
legislation can change this exit into an entrance. Now shout amen.
Yes.
We have the human resources, we have the natural resources, so we can do without the
No,
That is all I've been trying to portray in my book. Let's go back to domestication. Let's
God
go back to
designed
Ghana
the
Beyond
male
8. And let us
be
go
like
ahead
him.
and do what we as
The
a people
male
believe is
a
right for us.
giver.
And as Professor
So
Atamel
if you
said,
look at the male's
why
body,
do you bring
there's
in
nothing
aid
to receive.
help people and destroy what the people really believe that is not right? Don't make a fetish out of human rights. And that is why it is sad. I don't want to go there, but that is
that
sad
clear?
some of our people
Is it clear?
high people in society.
This is an exit.
Will come together and come and present
Claire,
a case that, hey, those of us who are enlightened and so on, we don't see anything kind of wrong with this kind of thing.
Is that what they said? They had
it is illegal to enter and exit.
The rights.
No, but you know
of the people.
Yeah. Well,
shout amen, church.
The right to indulge and to redefine the right to redefine sexuality.
No, they felt that there might be attacks on people who are
those ones.
Your country is now facing.
This is something that the bill itself seeks to
challenge.
Yes,
of people
it protects these people
attempting
in the situation.
to legalize an exit.
You are the scientists. Why do you think the WHO removed this from its disease list in 1990?
But WHO, who is WHO? Is it not the West with all their money and everything? Even when this COVID thing came, I think Trump was there, and he was almost throwing WHO away and said they will not even give them any resources. Yeah, so and WHO has survived, and so some of the things that they will do is simply because.
So your expectations of members of parliament as this bill is there?
Well, I don't think they can be true members of parliament representing Ghanaians when Ghanaians are saying that this thing is off limits for us. And you can't represent us and go against that.
0322083596. Join our conversation. Let's hear from you. You can call us on 0322083596. And we just want to have your take on your expectation of this bill that is before Parliament. What's your take on it? What are your expectations of this bill